part walking simulator, part mystery, part horror, and part puzzle game. You'll experience all these genres when you play In Rays of the Light. In this game, you wake up in a post-apocalyptic world with no one around, no idea where you are or what happened. While this is nothing new in video games, In Rays of the Light take a slightly different approach to this genre. Rather than throwing zombies or monsters your way, over the next few hours you'll learn about life that used to be, the emotions, the hopes, the fears, and what made everyone disappear. In Rays of the Light throws you right in. It gives no instructions, no tutorials, you're tossed into this mystery to try and figure out what has happened, and that's a wonderful thing. I won't easily forget those first starting moments. Looking around a small room, a TV crackling with static, the dust on the frame of the plastic, the foliage growing inside the room, the dirt and the garbage all over the dilapidated floor. You can immediately tell that a lot of love was put into crafting this world, and you get the sense that every little detail may mean something or be important later on. The light will lead you. Most likely the first words you'll see, written on a wall outside the starting room and the beginning of your journey, you'll find a flashlight taped to the wall. It might be useful, shows on the screen as you pick it up, and this flashlight will be your only companion throughout the rest of your journey. I won't get into much more about the story of the game, as discovering this for yourself is easily the best part of the whole experience. Walking around, finding things you can interact with, and solving some puzzles, both easy ones and some that had me pulling at my hair because I knew I was so close to figuring it out, but I just couldn't get them. The controls of the game are simple. You can walk, run, and jump, although I don't think jumping was ever needed in my playthrough. You can interact with some objects in the world, things like lockers, doors, keys, and notes that are scattered throughout. These notes are the main plot devices and where you'll slowly piece together more about what happened here. Make sure to read each and every one. Not only is it related to a trophy, but some puzzles require you to know specific details that you'd never know without reading them. Objects you can interact with highlight in a white light glow, making them easy to spot, and you'll know very easily what you can and cannot use. This is also helpful as you may be missing certain pieces to complete a puzzle, but knowing that you can interact with the object gives you hints that you'll need to come back to it later. Paying attention to your surroundings in this game is very important. Everything has a purpose, and you'll need to find specific items if you're going to make it to the end. You won't want to rush through the game your first time playing. Take it slow and really explore each room and find everything you can. Much like the graphics, the audio in this game are phenomenal. The sound effects fit with the area so well, from the buzzing insects near the dilapidated washrooms to the footsteps walking on different floor materials, wood creaking and cracking as you pry open a door, and the music itself. So haunting, mysterious, and at some points downright creepy. I played with headphones on, and there were a few times I was sitting on the edge of my seat, my heart pounding as I knew I had to walk around another dark corner, not knowing what I would find on the other side. With its simple controls, the gameplay itself felt good and was easy enough to pick up. I did find that the default camera speed is a bit too slow, so I had to boost that in the settings, and besides that, everything else worked well. I was lucky enough to play on the PS5, and for the most part the game ran really well. However, there were some sections with noticeable frame drops, and it definitely feels like the game could be optimized a little more. As this is coming out on the Switch as well, I really wonder what sacrifices must be made to make this run on the less powerful console. There is no fighting in the game, so no health bar and no game over screens. Because it's a type of walking simulator, it is also a little slower paced, so be sure to keep that in mind before picking this game up. Some of the puzzles can be a bit frustrating, and as I mentioned before, you really do need to be paying attention and exploring everything. There are no hints, so you won't know that you're missing one key item or where you're supposed to go if you haven't been paying attention. Because of this fact, I feel it's also probably best to make sure you've carved out a good chunk of time to play the game, as picking it up again after an extended period may make things more difficult trying to remember what you have or haven't done yet. That all said, thankfully the world is not that large, and the game does a good job of helping point you in the right direction. You'll start to pick up on subtle clues the game throws at you. Some objects may have yellow spray paint on them. Every item really does have a purpose, so if you can interact with something, it is needed for something. Or, when in doubt, always try and follow the light. Completing the game the first time took me about 2.5 hours, and a lot of that was spent exploring, backtracking, and looking for key pieces I didn't know I was missing. The game features 16 trophies, including a platinum, that encourage you to explore the world more and were generally pretty fun to get. There is an alternate ending that gives a bit more insight into the world for those who want a little bit more, and I'll have a video showing how to get that ending up on the channel very soon. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with In Rays of the Light. I really enjoyed exploring every nook and cranny, and honestly felt joy when I figured out some of the more diabolical puzzles. The story itself leaves a lot to reflect on, and it's one of those games that can really make you think and wonder, which is right up my alley. If you're looking for something a little different, a little slower paced, but that might make you pause and think while also having fun, I would highly recommend picking up In Rays of the Light. Thank you again to Noskov Sergey for sending me a review copy of the game early on PS5. In Rays of the Light will be available on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and Switch on March 17th. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, happy gaming.